Hello everyone. Let's get started with the formulas today. You want to enter any formula in a cell, it should always start with equal sign. And let's say we want to add 12 plus 13 and then hit enter key and it will give you the result 25. Similarly, you can do the subtraction, multiplication 12 into 13 and division. So addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. You can of course add, subtract as well like this in one formula and it will give you the result. Okay, if you type the formula like 2 plus 3 multiply by 6, can you guess what will be the answer? Will it be 2 plus 3, 5 into 6, 30? Or will it be 3 into 6, 18 plus 2, 20? Can you guess? Let's see what's the answer. So answer is 20, which is 6 into 3, 18 plus 2. So the normal operator precedence, same for Excel as well, which means that the multiplication or division will happen first and then the sum or subtraction, addition or subtraction. Addition, subtraction. Okay, so this is the order of precedence. Let's see another example. Let's type 20 multiply by 2 and divide by 10. So what will be the answer? If you guessed 4, then it's right. So 20 into 2, 40, divide by 10. Now let's write the same numbers, but let's swap the multiplication and division signs. The answer is 100. So 20 divided by 2 is 10 into 10, 100. So as you can see, if you have multiplication and division in same formula, then it will follow from left to right. So the sign or the operator that appears first will be executed first and then the second. And same goes for addition and subtraction. So if you write 20 minus 10 plus 2, answer will be 12. And if I use same number 20, 10, 2 and swap the subtraction and addition operators, so I will write 20 plus 10 minus 2, and it will be 30 minus 2, that is 28. Okay, so the correct order of precedence is multiplication or division and then addition or subtraction. And among multiplication and division, the first operator will take the precedence over second. Okay, you can override the precedence by putting the parenthesis. Like for example, instead of 2 plus 3 into 6, if I type bracket 2 plus 3 multiply by 6, then the answer would be 30. So 2 plus 3 is executed first and then the multiplication. So it's same like what we learned into our basic mathematics. If you put the parenthesis, then it will override the precedence. So parenthesis will be solved first. So that's about the. Okay, now let's fill some data in a spreadsheet. And now we are going to look at the sum function. So for that, we need to enter some data. So let's start with the column heading, serial number, then expense, and let's say month one. Yesterday we looked at how we can do the autofill in module 3, like 1, 2, 3, or you can select these two cells and drag them. So let's have 10 data. I will just say expense 1 and I can drag it expense 2. There's also another way to autofill, and that is by double click. Okay, so if you have the adjacent column filled in, then if you write one or two values and double click here on the fill handle, then it will autofill until the adjacent column is filled. Let's add some expense here. 10, 13.5, 34. I'm just typing any random value. As you can see, it is showing us the hash. We saw last time that the hash will appear if the data is longer than the column. And if we double click on column, then you can see the full data. And you can see that when I enter the number, it actually took it as a date. Maybe because there was some information in the cells earlier and they had the date format. So what we will do, we'll go to clear and we'll say clear format. And now you would see the numbers are now displayed as the plain numbers. I'll change this to currency and it will automatically take two decimal numbers. I want to enter the expenses for 3 months. Okay, so this autofill also works horizontally. So we have month 1. I can drag it to month 2 and month 3. Okay, and then I'll enter again some random values and same for month 3. You can select these rows and columns and convert them to currency. Okay, now let's say you want to have a total expenditure of month 1. To do that, you can select this cell and go to tab home, editing, AutoSum, and click on it. You can see in the cell it has automatically entered sum C2 to C10, And you can also see the blue dotted line around cells C2 to C10, which actually indicates the range that it has selected to give the AutoSum. And when you hit enter key, it will give you the total value. Okay. We have seen this in last example as well, that how the AutoSum works. But what we are going to see today is that you can copy and paste the formula from one cell to another cell. So if I copy this formula and paste in the adjacent cells, then you can see in the formula bar it says sum D2 to D10. Okay, now hit the escape key. So when you click on this, you see the formula C2 to C10. You select this cell and hit F2 key. When you hit F2 key, it will show you what exactly is entered in that cell. So we have entered this formula. So it shows us the function sum with range D2 to D10. So we copied this cell and pasted into D cell, and it has changed the reference according to the column in which we are copying this formula. So C in this formula here became D in this formula. Okay, instead of copy paste, you can even drag the cell. So if I drag the cell to column E, and I select this column and hit a cell and hit F2 key, it shows me that the sum is now from E2 to E10. Okay, you can also do this, like for example, you want to know how much is the total expenditure under expense type, expense 1, for all 3 months together. So you can select this cell and hit on AutoSum key. Excel automatically detects where the data is. So in this case, now it has selected a row from C2 to E2, and it has added that as a range to give the AutoSum. And when you hit enter key, it will give you the sum of these 3 columns. And similarly, if I drag this cell, select this and hit F2 key, it is showing me C3 to E3. Okay, so when you drag a formula horizontally from one column to another column, then it keeps the row number same and changes the column ID. Whereas when you drag the formula from one cell to another cell in a row, so from one row to another row, it keeps the columns same and changes the row number. So as you can see in this cell, the columns are C and E, and the row number is 2. When you copy this formula to row number 3, the columns are same C and A, but the row had changed from 2 to 3. Okay, whereas here the column is C and C, and the rows are from 2 to 10. When you copy this formula to column D, then you can see that rows remained 2 to 10, but the column changed from C to D. Okay, you can double click on this, and when you, so I selected these 2 cells and double clicked on this, and now you can see that it has copied the formula. So now it is C4 to E4, this is C5 to E5, C6 to E6, C7 to E7, C8 to E8, C9 to E9, and C10 E10 to E10. Okay. If I select all of these cells, then you can see in the status bar it shows the sum 1120.50. Escape, and I'll select these three cells, and it also gives me the total 1120.50. Okay, so this is how you can copy and paste the formulas from one cell to another cell, and it will change the references in respect to where you copy those cells. Okay, so for example, if I copy this cell and paste it here, okay, then it had changed. So it kept the row number 2, but the columns are now changed to G to I from C to E. Okay, so based on how much you move the copied cell, it moves the references in the same pattern. Okay, so this is how you can use the referencing in the functions. All right, you can also do this for the normal addition, subtraction, multiplication as well. The way, so earlier, in earlier example, what we did is we directly typed the numbers into the cell like 120 plus 2, and it gives you the answer 122. Now the problem with this is if your value changes for some reason, like for example instead of 2 you want to add 4, then you'll have to go and edit the cell and type 4 in here. Instead of that, what you can do is you can have your numbers, let's say A, C, and D, and then I'll type the numbers here. So 120, 23, and 10. Let's say all these are also not the currency, but a normal number with no decimal place. These are normal numbers. Okay. All right. Now let's try. So if we want, in the first example, if we want A plus B into C, okay, what you can do, you can type equal to. So as soon as you type sign equal to, it goes into the formula mode. Okay, so once you type equal to, now Excel expects that you will either enter the number or you will enter the cell reference. Now we want the value from the cell which is equal to the value of A, which is 120 in this case. So you just have to select that cell and it will automatically enter the reference after equal to sign. Just click on this J2 and it will automatically add the reference there as J2. Okay, uh, just observe one thing. We are into this cell and we selected this cell for the referencing. You can see in the status bar here, It doesn't say ready. The status bar says point. So it is in point mode. Okay, so point mode means Excel expects you to point to the cell for which you want to add the reference. So this cell is not in a ready mode. And that's the reason you can see most of the options in the command bar are grayed out. Okay. While typing this formula, if you click somewhere else by mistake, then just keep in mind as it is in point mode, wherever you click, it will add the reference of that cell in the location where you are editing right now. So always be careful when you are in edit mode or a point mode. You should be very careful before you click anywhere else. So let's select the correct cell. If you want to abort this function, which means that if you don't want to enter the function and if you want to come out of the point mode at any point in time, you can hit escape key and it will just cancel all that you were typing before. Okay, so let's go back and try to enter the formula again. Enter key 120. So you're still in a point mode. Then addition, so add the plus operator. Okay, so you are into the edit mode or the enter mode now. Okay, then you want to add the value of B. So just select cell G3. So it's again into point mode now. Okay, and multiply by C. Okay, and then hit enter key. So 120 plus 20 is 140. Sorry. So operator precedence, the first it will do B multiplied by C. So 20 into 3 is 60 plus 120 is 180. Okay. When you click this cell and hit F2 key, then you can see the formula entered there, J2 plus J3 multiplied by J4, and also see that Excel automatically selects the colors for each of these parameter, and the same color is also shown for the range to which that reference is related to. So J2 is blue and then the actual cell referring to J2 is also blue. Same for red and J4. Okay. Uh, Now when you look at this formula and then you realize actually no, I don't want to multiply by J4. Actually what I want is I want to multiply by J5. So instead of 3, I want to multiply by 10. Or instead of C, I want to multiply by D. So what you can do, once you're into the edit mode, you can drag this cell. So if you select this cell and drag it to 10, you can see in the edit cell J4 changes to J5, and when you hit enter key, it will give you the results of A plus B into D, which is 20 into 10, that's 200 plus 120. Okay, we will go back to C, gives you the answer. So the advantage of working in this way is if this value changes, or if 3 changes to 5, then your answer will also change automatically without editing that cell. Okay, so whatever changes you do into the actual value, the formula will calculate the new value automatically and update that in this cell. Okay, so that's all for this module. In the next one, we will look into the various type of referencing. So the referencing we used in this example is called as relative referencing. Then there is another referencing type which is called as absolute referencing. And then we have the third type, which is mixed referencing, where absolute and relative referencing both are used in same formula. So we will look at few more functions and formulas and the various type of referencing in next module. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please leave them on YouTube channel and I'll try to address them as much as I can. Thank you and see you in the next module. Thank you.